Hi, welcome back to my channel Sean's Tea and Independent Contractor Life. I would first like to say if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. Also welcome back to my old subscribers. Turn notifications on for more videos. This is something new I like to bring to the channel, reacting to the latest TikTok tea as well as my independent contractor life. In today's video, I'm reacting to a crazy situation where a woman found out her man was cheating on her with her own niece. Let me just say upfront, I do not condone cheating in any form. When it comes to relationships, trust is everything. And when someone crosses that line, especially with a family member, that's a betrayal on a whole other level. Now, if I were in her shoes, I would have had to cut both of them off, no question. Not only is the guy dead wrong for disrespecting the relationship, but the niece? That's a violation of family loyalty. Family is supposed to be where you find support, not betrayal. It's wild how some people have no boundaries, but I'll always believe in holding people accountable for their actions. This is definitely some next level tea, and I'll be bringing more of these kinds of stories to the channel as part of a new segment where we dive into the wildest TikTok tea. So if you're into juicy stories and real talk, make sure to stick around and subscribe. Let me know in the comments how you would have handled this situation, because I know everybody has their own take on it. This just my opinions on this situation. I will leave her TikTok in description if you like to check her TikTok for more, but please leave comment how you feel about this situation and how would you have handled this. And did you think how she handled this was something you would do? Drop comment below. Again, this is something new for my TikTok tea. I will bring more TikTok tea to this channel. Here's the video, enjoy.
I've been in the house all day binge watching movies, so I was watching Soul Food, and I got to the part where Cousin Faith was, Terry's husband. So it inspired me to get up here and tell my story about my cousin Faith, because I know everybody got a cousin Faith around, regardless if it's a friend, a sister, a cousin, a niece, or whoever. So I got a niece that's the same age as me. Oh, before I start telling my story too, with my last story time about Rent a Center, y'all say that I'm long-winded, I got ADHD, I tell 10,000 minute stories in one story. You have to tell certain details of a story so people can understand the story. Without the details, that's like a pie with no filling. So back to the story. I got a niece that's the same age as me or whatever. So she was dating this guy at the time or whatever. He was a younger guy. He was younger than her, but together they had like 4 or 5 kids or whatever. His brother had ended up getting into some trouble. Somebody had came and boom, pew, pew, at the house or whatever. I can't remember if they moved out because they feared for their lives or if the landlord ended up putting them out. All I know is they had to move. So they were staying in hotels or whatever. With them staying in hotels, they kept applying for cribs, but they kept getting denied. So each night their money is getting lower and lower. I was dating a guy who owned properties or whatever. So I ended up asking my friend or whatever, could he rent a place to them? My niece was like, can you please ask them? I asked him. At first he was like, no, he didn't want to rent a place to them. He don't want to rent the family, all of that or whatever. So I let them stay at my house for a few nights because I was never really home for real. I was always staying at my man's house. But after a while go on, I'm going to come home. So I really needed them to find a place. 2 nights with them being into the townhouse, her boyfriend ends up going to jail. When he go to jail, I think he was in jail for like 2 weeks or whatever, he ends up getting a bond. When he got out, she was already wanted. So she ended up going to jail like literally right after he got out. She sat in jail for probably like, I think like 6 to 8 months, something like that. The whole time she was in jail, he had women in and out of the house, in and out the house. One day somebody calls me or whatever. This is how I end up finding out. Somebody ended up calling me and was like, go look at such live on Facebook. So the girl was up there on live drinking a Capri Sun and eating fruit snacks in her bed. And she was like, yeah, I'm in this B bed eating her kids fruit snacks, drinking they Capri Suns. Then the other girl got up there and was like, yeah, we just made us another baby in that bed. This is one of his previous baby mamas. He got her pregnant in the house. So my niece is in jail, like going through it like, oh my God, I can't believe he doing this to me. So mind you, he had ended up getting sentenced to some time for when he had went to jail and got out on bond. He got sentenced to some time, But he explained to the judge that he was a full-time daddy and that my niece was in jail or whatever. So the judge was nice enough to tell him, like, look, once y'all figure out her time, we can figure out a time when you can come turn yourself in. So once she got sentenced, the judge set it up so that when she come home, he goes in. So when she got out, he had 2 weeks to turn himself in. So I'm telling my niece, like, yeah, you about to dog walk him when he get out. He did you dirty, whatever. She ends up throwing a cookout for him for going away. That's what I thought the cookout was for. So I end up going out there to the cookout or whatever, to see him away. Hey, go do your 2 years in jail. Then it's her turn to have people in the crib. So somebody ends up calling me, was like, yeah, I see you was at the wedding reception. I'm like, what wedding reception? They like, yeah, your niece had a wedding reception. I said, girl, that was a going away cookout. They said no. That was their celebration because they went down there to the Justice of the Peace and got married. So I called her. I'm like, you married him? You married him? At first she was lying about it. Then she ended up admitting, yes, she did marry him, which I thought was the most stupidest thing ever. So I had kind of fell back from her a little bit. I really wasn't talking to her like that. On top of that, she needed to focus because now the person who pays the bills is going to jail, and then you got a background, so it's not just that easy for you to get out here and get a job like that. So now she got to try to figure out how she gonna pay the bills. I don't want to make the video too long because then it's gonna take too long to upload. Go to part 2 on how I found out my niece was sleeping with my man. Y'all people on TikTok is really crazy. Let me hurry up and tell this story time before I get beat up. Alright, so boom. So months go down the line or whatever. I don't talk to my niece. I wasn't talking to her because I felt some type of way about her getting married after the dude did all of that to her. So she ends up calling me one day, like asking me why she hadn't heard from me, why I wasn't talking to her. I kept everything short, sweet, and simple. So her mom ends up moving down here, which is my sister. And she was living in Atlanta, and she went to the store, came back home. Her boyfriend had died, but that's neither here nor there. So anyways, my sister was living back down here now. I ended up going out one night with my friend. She lived in a different city than me. So she came and picked me up. The plan was for me to stay the night at her house after the club. But once we went to the club, I didn't feel like staying the night. So I ended up calling my sister to see if she happened to be on that side because she hung in that city. So she was like, yeah, she would pick me up, give me a ride home. She come pick me up, I get in the car with her or whatever, and we talking to her, and she telling me how my niece's attitude had been real bad. So I was telling her, like, yeah, because my dude went around there yesterday to go fix her AC, and while I'm on the phone with him, her attitude was real nasty. And she was like, tuh, you ain't crazy, put that shit together, sis. Girl, put what together? What is you talking about? She was like, you ain't stupid. I said, what you mean I ain't stupid? I was stupid. I was totally oblivious because I didn't know what the fuck she was talking about. So she was like, listen, I don't got no stone facts or whatever. She was like, but I think they messing with each other. So I was like, why you think they mess with each other? So she just started like naming stuff. She was like, he had got her a car. She said that the rent had went from one price. She said he was giving her care credit to get the kids some glasses. He had gave her a gift card to go get some Victoria's Secret. I was like, what? So I ended up calling him, asking him about it or whatever. Of course, he denied it. I ended up calling her, asking her about it. Of course, she denied it. She started downplaying her own mama. This is how I found out for a fact that they were. And I wasn't just speculating. 2 days after I found that out about them, that's when I ended up taking my trip up the road to prison. I went to jail though, of course it took time before I got sentenced to prison or whatever, but I had ended up getting locked up or whatever. And while I was in jail, he still never admitted it. But I really wasn't talking to him like that because I knew it wasn't a lie. She ends up being wanted for a murder or conspiracy to a murder. This is how everything was solid that they was dealing with each other. Someone had ended up getting murdered in her house, And when they went on a hunt to go look for her, they ended up kicking in his house because he was the landlord of the house. And I guess they had got word that him and her was, I don't know. All I know is that they found her at his house butt ball naked.